You don't need to have an erection to experience pleasure and orgasm. It's Men's Health Week this week, and here at Sex and Space wanted to acknowledge this by spending some time looking at men's sexual health. And one of the top concerns that men have is the ability to get and keep an erection. Perhaps the reason that this is such a commonly Googled question is because according to Healthline, around 52% of men experience some form of erectile dysfunction. So if it's something that you are struggling with, you're not alone. And yes, there are a couple of things that you can do to reduce your risk of erectile dysfunction, but it's also really important to know that if you do have it at some point, it doesn't mean that you can't experience pleasure and orgasm, because you can. But let's start with the ways to reduce risk. Harvard Medical School says that walking for just half an hour each day has been linked to a 41% drop in the risk for ED. Time to pop a Sex and Space podcast on and go for a walk. Another study published in the National Library of Medicine shows just how effective pelvic exercises are for men with ED. So after 6 months of using pelvic exercises, also called Kegel exercises, 40% of participants had their normal erectile function back, and a further 35.5% improved their erectile function significantly. Another study from 2020 studied the link between diet and erections, and they looked at over 21,000 men between the ages of 40 and 75. And they found that those men who ate a Mediterranean diet or something similar were less likely to have ED than those who didn't. But the real news here is that you don't actually need to have an erection at all to experience pleasure and orgasm. And if you don't believe us, here's veteran sex worker Michelle Hardenbrook to give her take on the topic.
I said, you don't need to be hard to have an orgasm. And he said, I can't ejaculate. And I said, you don't need to ejaculate to have an orgasm. And he goes, you're kidding me. And I said, I'm not kidding.
If you want to hear Michelle's tips and tricks for achieving orgasm without an erection, you can find the rest of the podcast at the link in our bio.